Welcome, faithful followers of the green and white, to the DVC Palladium. Steve Coach Emilio Court, the site of our action today for DVC Vikings live coverage of women's basketball, and it is the first home game of the Casey Waters era here, and it's the first home game for DVC women's hoops in 985 days, dating all the way back to a game that my colleague here, Mr. Max Agreste, and I called on March 7th, 2020, and no changes, right, Max?
No, nothing at all. We got a brand new stadium, a brand new court. We got new bleachers and everything. I don't think anything's changed.
And, of course, on top of all that, a brand new coach, Casey Waters here, bringing her team in with an 0-2 record to get started. They've played a couple of games up in Quincy against Feather River and Lassen College.
Yeah, and it's difficult when you come in. We've had such historically strong programs in the men's and women's teams for so many years. It's easier to tear things down than it is to build it up. And these two coaches have doing everything that they can recruiting-wise. They're putting their heart and soul, and that's all you can ask for.
Indeed, and starting to see some of the payoff there on the men's side. A season last year at 500. They are back at 500 now after winning on Saturday against the College of Alameda. Women's team looking for the first victory of this season, and we're going to take a quick look at how they will line up. It's short rosters for both of these sides. DVC will have June Brooms, Allie Lloyd, Serenity Fields, Lexi Lapari, and Jackie Aguayo in the starting lineup. Just a handful of players available off the bench for Casey Waters, including a pair of members of DVC's recently just finished up soccer season, and we'll get a look at them as we go.
It's great to see. You'll be in shape. You just finished one season. You don't have to worry about cardio because they play soccer.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, if you want to run, that'll be the plan. And it does look like we are going to have an anthem, so we will step away for a moment here on DVC Vikings Live. Returning to Steve Coach Emilio Court in Pleasant Hill. No anthem as it worked out. A few technical challenges. I very nearly got recruited into doing it by Josie Gonzalez, one of those two soccer players who was lined up ready for it. We'll pick things up where we left off. College of the Siskiyous now on the floor, 2-0 on the young season. They'll have Jasmine Wells, Brianne Hands, Asia Hendricks, Taya Amade, and Halliday Hubbard as their starting five. And we're just about ready for action here on DVC Vikings Live. We'll get our fresh scoreboard up here and
ready to get things rocking here.
Indeed. Eagles, Vikings. Sounds like a football game, but it's hoops. It's on the floor and it's underway. It'll go on the opening tip here to Brianne Hands.
And the Vikings started in the 2-3 zone. We know that they're going to play some women defense, but they decide to go with the zone look early.
It looks like the clock may not have quite gotten started in time, so
hey, it's a brand new court. We're getting things going. A little bit of technical difficulties. Nothing much. Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see how they elect to defend this team. You know you have to box them out inside the post, so the 2-3 zone will allow you to have three people kind of inside on that baseline area and get as many hands towards the ball as possible.
Yeah, certainly group rebounding is going to be a big deal. This Siskiyous team comes in with 6 players with 7+ rebounds per game. Admittedly, small sample size. Yeah. But definitely had a little more trouble with Las Positas. It seemed like the Hawks were a bit more physical with them than Cosumnes River were. As the inbound is going to come here to the number 0, Jasmine Wells has it at the top of the key. To the wing for Hendricks. Looking for the cut, clapping for it is Hubbard up at the top. She'll finally be fed. Serenity Fields digging her up. Working her way to the right corner. 9 to shoot. Trapped in there, may have stepped on the sideline and did. Good defense there, one-on-one from Serenity Fields to get things started.
And that's how you get it started. You put the defensive pressure, you set your tone on defense, and the offense will flow alongside with it.
That call there coming from Sarah Ely, our crew chief tonight. See Justin Rubovitz putting the ball in, or into the hands at the very least, of the number 11, Allie Lloyd. Our other official, Chris Covert. Ball in the hands right now of Lloyd. Left corner here, looking for June Bloom, who's changed numbers from 10 to 14. Good cross-court pass from underneath. Here comes the 3-ball, just a little bit strong from Alexis Lapari.
Good ball movement, got the wide open shot in the corner. You'll take it.
One of Bloom's specialties in particular there is the ability to penetrate and kick. Ball currently in the hand of Wells. Now back over to Carly Reynolds, who's already come into the game. Tries to set up Breanne Hands, looking for the three, but too many steps. Again, good defense there. Out quickly to contest was the number 11, Allie Lloyd.
2 stops back to back. You got to be excited as a coach. Defense is always the hardest thing. Offense will start to flow, but if you can set the tone on defense, you can get your confidence and get things going.
Ball in the hands of the 22, Lipari. Bit of dribble penetrate, now kicks out to Lloyd, driving at the hoop, a little short, rebound underneath, no good from Fields. That's going to get tipped out to Aguayo. Fresh 30 for the Vikes. Brooms driving the right side of the lane, up and in, and DVC strike first blood. 2-0 early on here. Siskiyou's coming the way back up. Of course, going left to right across your screen here in the road blues, and there's some active hands from Brooms. She takes that away, looking to beat the defender in the foot race, and she will. 2 quick buckets for June.
You got offensive rebounds on the last time out, and then a points on the transition there. You love to see it.
Promising start for the green and white. Jasmine Wells at the top of the key. Over to the wing, open three, and again the closeout defense. Brilliant stuff there from Lipari, and she forces another travel.
Up and down, both teams in this young season. You're seeing some freshman mistakes there.
Indeed, a few more sophomores on this Siskiyou's team than on the DVC team, but they are both a bit on the young side. Vila Perry here. She and Izzy Dela Cruz, the 2 point guards for this team. Here's a free ball from Brooms. That's a little bit too short, rather. Lipari underneath trying to snag it, but still getting the legs underneath her.
You can hear Coach Casey on the floor mic saying, hey, take your time. You have that 30-second play clock. Use it.
Indeed, Siskiyou's a team that's played a lot of games recently with a lot of shots. A very quick pace. Looking for that first score, no good. Offensive rebound doesn't go for the number 2 Hands. Here comes a 3 from distance. That is going to be batted around after it misses. And a wild attempt there from Hendricks to try to keep it in, but to no avail.
And that you can see on that last possession for Siskiyous. Their inside positioning is very good, and that's why they've been able to get so many rebounds early this year.
Right now it's Fields and Aguayo, and to some extent Lloyd being tasked with dealing with that. That one off the foot of the DVC point guard. Lipari did take a touch from Siskiyou, so no over and back. Pulls up for the shot from the free throw line, in and out. Here comes Siskiyou's the other way. Eagles with the cross quarter up to the top of the key. Hendricks, no good, too strong. Correction, Amadei rather on that shot, and that'll be picked up by Lloyd. DVC still pitching a shutout here, 3 minutes and 20 seconds in. Open shot from the left corner. That is a bit too short. Underneath, looking for the board is Aguayo, and it is picked up. Back to Lipari. Left side now driving in, and the kick to Lloyd. A little hot to handle, but she does manage to keep it under control and is now going to lose control inside. This one up ahead for Wells. Wells drops back here, and a good challenge from Serenity Fields, but it is going to be the first foul of the day.
Yeah, you had great post defense from Siskiyous, and that pushed the break over to the other side. The Vikings were able to get there, so the effort's there, and you'll take it, even though it's a foul there. Tough contested shot. It's a good foul to take right over there, and we'll see if they can earn it from the line.
Indeed, it'll be Breanne Hands going to the line here. This will actually, in fact, be her first free throw attempted of the season. Hits the first, and Siskiyou's on the board here now.
Yeah, and Hands is, of course, the first person that scores. She's the leading scorer for this team, scoring 17 a game.
So statistically, that would have been the most likely source, shooting 8 of 19 coming in on the season as well. Getting a sense here that inside, outside, she'll pull up from anywhere that's handy. First look at Izzy Dela Cruz. Kick to the right corner. Here's Brooms again, a bit too long. Fields trying to get to it. Hands, with good hands, pulls it in. Up ahead now, Hubbard looking for Amadei. Hubbard to the right side, now back up top. Hubbard will take the 3-ball straight on, no good. Long rebound comes to Wells though. Back to Breanne Hands. Another 3-ball, no good. Knocked around, and Dela Cruz will tiptoe the sideline.
And it's interesting to see the way that Siskiyou is working. They're taking a lot of outside shots and just throwing their bigs in the middle to eat up all those rebounds. So you got 3 people on the outside shooting all these outside shots, and then you just really trusting your bigs inside.
Deflection from Amade will carry over the head of Aguayo. 16 left to shoot. Ball stays right here.
And it's been an up-and-down game so far. You've had some offensive rebounds on both sides, but, I mean, both bigs are showing up on each side of the floor.
And so far, the early story has been a lot of turnovers for Siskiyou. They had 3 off their first 3 possessions, but have settled down since. Good ball inside for Aguayo. Puts it up off glass, no good. Fields the board, trying to go back up. She was the one who committed the first foul. She absorbs the second, and she is on her way to the line.
Physical play from the post once again. Aguayo and Fields just working inside. And I don't know how many times this year that they'll have a size advantage, but you'll take it when you can get it.
Yeah, 5'11" out of Tustin. Serenity Fields coming up north. Jackie Aguayo from much closer by, Richmond, 5'10".
Nice
Fields hits the first. That looks gorgeous.
Not much of a need, Ben, but you see the follow-through. And when you have follow-through, you have confidence, and that's what you're looking for with the free throw.
Be the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Envision, be the ball.
2 point guards on the floor right now for the Vikings as Fields hits them both. Dela Cruz and Lipari in what is presently a 3-guard look alongside Brooms.
And back to the 2-3 zone for the Vikings now.
That'll go to Reynolds. Carly Reynolds, looping pass, finds Amade. Quick ball movement down into the interior, but that's going to be a little too hot there. Reynolds not able to hold on, and that's going to be another turnover for the Eagles.
You can tell Wells and Reynolds have practiced that play, but the ball just came out a little too hot. When you have that adrenaline from the game, Phil, it's a little different than practice.
Oh, for sure. Up ahead, Dela Cruz to the elbow, back to Izzy. Again tiptoeing the sideline. Good footwork, no surprise for the point guard / outside back. Interplay here between Fields and Lipari. Double team comes to her. Cross-court pass to Dela Cruz. Extra pass to Brooms. 3-ball from the corner, no good. Battling for it, and Lipari will get DVC the extra possession.
You didn't get the shot, but you got the extra pass into a wide-open shot, so you'll take it.
Dela Cruz wide open right now, but Lipari will take. Too short. Brooms underneath. Wild stuff, but takes contact.
Call that one a lob, because that ball, it didn't really get towards the rim, but her woman was right there in the post. It'll work out at the end of the day for the Vikings.
That's just good anticipation and attacking the rim as a runner and as a rebounder there. Sometimes turn around and say, look what I found.
And Brooms getting the lion's share of the points for the Vikings so far. When you have a sophomore on the floor who's played a year under the system already, you get that feeling, you get the anticipation of where the shots are going to come, and then you know how your players are, so maybe she has a tendency to leave it a little bit short, so good anticipation, and the Vikings get that offensive rebound, miss the shot.
Yeah, Jackie Aguayo doing hard work in there. Jackie with 6.3 boards per game last season. She and Brooms, the 2 big sophomores, will also have Mila McElroy in a little bit working on eligibility issues. Contact inside as Lipari tries to shoot the gap and pick up another steal, but that'll send us to a side out over here. Second Viking team foul. Inbounds comes to Hands. Top right corner here for the 35. Holiday Hubbard. That one touched away by Fields. It'll stay right here with 25 to shoot. Inbound to Hands. Not much in the way of a challenge there on the inbound pass. DVC setting themselves in that zone. Way too strong on the 3-ball from Reynolds. Inside, though, the board taken by Hubbard and now stripped away from Grooms. And what a pass ahead for Lipari, who manages to hold on to it under pressure. Good first step there. Nice quickness, and the floater just doesn't quite fall. Hubbard and Aguayo battling for the board.
She had a wide-open Dela Cruz in the corner, so you'll see that adjustment going forward.
Hubbard at the wing, around the perimeter. Reynolds. Right side and getting stuck by the sideline. Good work by Aguayo. No good, too strong there from Amade. Aguayo playing nicely under control right now. I think coming out to challenge, but also managing to hit the brakes. That one tipped away, stays with the Vikes.
What any coach will tell you, it's easy to accelerate, but how do you decelerate? That's how you really show a great athlete. If you get a deceleration, you have the ability to control it all the way through. Shows core strength, shows that power, and shows a well-conditioned athlete. Luka Doncic, one of those guys. Deceleration is his key.
Ooh, great piece of work there by the number 11, Asia Hendricks, to keep that ball in play and find a teammate. They look to refeed her, but she's trapped to the line by Fields. Ball up top, and that's picked off by Izzy Dela Cruz, looking for her first points here in Pleasant Hill, and she's got them. DVC with the early 7-point lead.
Early timeout for Siskiyous as well. They're struggling early on, and the Vikings are eating up. They're playing stout defense, whether it's man-to-man or it's in that zone. Vikings are showing that they're the more composed team so far in this game.
Promising start for a team that suffered two pretty big defeats on the road. They look to defend the home floor. We'll be right back, 9-2 with 2:50 to go in the first. 2:50 to go here in the first quarter. Vikings staked to an early lead courtesy of some fantastic work on the defensive end.
Yeah, and then Brooms is 5 points as well. She got one of them on the line and then two of them in the post.
Nearly another turnover there. Dela Cruz doing well to pull the arms back. Now work to the corner. Jasmine Wells. That one nearly goes in off glass. No good. And the rebound will be settled by the Eagles from Weed. Going through the lane and unable to keep control is the number 20, Lonnie Jackson, in for her first action. DVC breaking the other way. Dela Cruz steps inside the arc, pulls up for a jumper. No good. Lipari battling for it, but it will be picked up by the newly inserted Jackson.
Brooms tripped over her own feet there. Good thing she was able to get up on her own power. I was worried about those ankles.
Brianna Hands from the left side, no good. Long rebound comes to the 11, Hendricks. Looks to put one up here, no good. Another rebound, and this time around, Amade not able to get it.
And if you see all those misses, it's wide looping shots. You got to tighten that one up, and you got to get those clean shots inside. No fancy underneath post work there.
Well, this is where that size advantage that we were talking about in the break comes into play. Not looking for size here, but for quickness, and Dela Cruz wondering where the foul is. Nothing given, and we'll go back the other way. Up ahead for Hands. Inside now to the number 11, Hendricks, and she lays that in. First points in a bit for the College of the Siskiyous. 90 seconds left in our first half.
Yeah, and Hendricks is the big that gets it all done. She's a strong offensive, defensive rebounder. Expect her to get on those offensive boards and really be in those positions to make those plays.
And certainly in the absence of Megan Bennett and Kiana Woodward, certainly an even more important role for her. About 15 rebounds per game disappearing there. That shot too strong. Going the other way, hands up for Dela Cruz, but she's not able to keep the ball from getting to its desired destination. The shot, though, no good from the right low block.
Yeah, we don't have the rebound statistic right now, but Aguayo's, she's eating them up right now. She's got to have at least 4 or 5 so far in this game.
Lipari has her pocket picked up at the top of the key. Going the other way, Dela Cruz versus Hands, and Hands will finish at the cup. 9-6. Siskiyous looking to close the gap here in the final minute of the first quarter.
Yeah, that timeout really did the Eagles justice there. They've come out looking like a different team.
We mentioned before, this is a team with a pair of victories so far this season. A somewhat close one against Las Positas, and then an absolute laugher against Cosumnes River. Aguayo, another offensive board, and this time converts it into points.
Man, Aguayo is legit. There's a reason she was the most improved player on her high school team. She's showing that she's continuing to grow, and man, she is working those boards tonight.
And that's the word you hear about her, is coachable. And as somebody who's got her eyes on anything she can do to improve. 10 seconds left, shot clock off here at the end of the first quarter. Working to the left side, Amade will get it in the corner. Here comes the 3 ball, no good. Still waiting for the first long distance connection, but they won't be able to get this one away in time. Doesn't matter, does not find the cup. 11-6 at the end of our first 10 minutes. We'll be back on the other side of this break to bring you quarter number 2. DVC on top. 1 quarter in the books. DVC on top, 11-6. A promising start to the Casey Waters in Pleasant Hill era. Last season, 5-22 as the team battled COVID issues and just generally low numbers. Had a few games canceled here and there, and just struggled to find continuity, but did get a couple of big wins. In fact, we were remarking before, I got to call one game when they played at Contra Costa, and they're 1-0 when I'm in attendance. So let's see if we can keep that going tonight.
Keep that train rolling. And let's see how the Vikings adjust with Aguayo off the floor there. They still have one big on the field on Fields, and she's 5'11", so she does have some sizable size inside. But going from a 2 big look to a 1 big look, let's see how it works for the Vikings on the boards.
Indeed, the reinsertion here of Allie Lloyd, the 5'3" freshman out of Deer Valley. Currently positioned in the right low block, and I think again perhaps some issues with getting the clock started at the beginning of a quarter.
Yeah, and just talking about some of these athletes there, we have some athletes that are two-sport athletes at the college level, but as I was interviewing some of these players before the game, you have multiple four-sport athletes. You know how much energy and time that takes? You're talking about Lloyd's, volleyball, softball, track, and basketball.
Goodness gracious. That gets me. I mean, I'm now a four-sport commentator, and that takes all my time. Nice little hook shot from the right side of the paint from Serenity Field. She's on the board, 13-6.
12-foot hook shot, but that was money right there.
Good first step there, and around the arrival of Fields underneath. Bucket for Carly Reynolds, and Siskiyous have the answer right away. Immediately, 2 baskets in the opening 30 seconds of the second. I like that pace. Let's keep it going. Brooms around a defender up top. Dela Cruz stretches to keep it in play. Into the paint. Challenged inside and unable to finish. Here comes Siskiyous the other way. Good defense there from Lipari. Unable to convert the shot, but DVC can't get the board. Picked up by Hendricks, and she'll go to the line after absorbing contact.
And that's the difference in size. You have Lloyd standing there 5'3", playing the defense on the big, and when you get those switches, it's going to be a little rough. Very different having a shooting guard on the floor rather than your big in that situation.
Hendricks misses the first. That is, at least by our records, her first free throw attempted this season. 5'9", freshman out of Mount Shasta. Misses both ends of the pair. Battling underneath is Hubbard. That one out, last touched by Blue. That'll be DVC ball.
And now you have the insertion of Aguayo once again. She's going to check out. Lloyd is going to check out, rather, and Aguayo's going to come back in. So the size was missed, and then now we'll see it again. Maybe we get back to what we were seeing more of in the first quarter for the Vikings now.
Both teams crashing the boards to great effect, and we've seen a decent number of second and third chance opportunities. Aguayo right now fed in the post. Drops that off to the run of Brooms. She's unable to complete that shot from the top right corner, and that's coming the other way. Hands underneath for Hendricks, and that's a nice finish. Siskiyous as close as they've been in some time, 13-10.
Hendricks getting near season average in points per game right now. She's got 4, averaging 4.5 in this early season.
Don't know if I'd necessarily call it a fast break, but it was a break. Dela Cruz from distance too short. Lipari battling, but Hendricks comes down with it again.
And the Vikings bigs are exiting a little early instead of staying in that deep post and getting those boards, and that's been an adjustment that they'll maybe have to change up again.
Siskiyous sitting pretty deep. DVC as Serenity Fields erases an Asia Hendricks attempt. Stays down here at this end, 16 to shoot for the Eagles.
Yeah, she looked like she was playing volleyball in the corner. She swatted that one out.
I think I saw Jackie Ponciano-Babb here earlier. Maybe she takes a little note.
Ooh, nice
that one underneath, picked off here by Brooms, and she'll take it the other way. The calm of a sophomore leader. Up ahead, that's a nice looping pass to Lipari. Walled off there by Hubbard. Back out now for Brooms. Behind the pick, to the glass, up and out. Oh,
everything
baby.
but the bucket there.
Oh, man. Hubbard's up ahead, and again, Siskiyous running, and Dela Cruz committing the foul. Carly Reynolds will head to the line.
Yeah, for a 5'4" freshman, you would think Dela Cruz wouldn't be much of a bruiser, but man, she's physical inside on the offensive defense side. Just got a little bit too much body contact on that play, but man, she is a heck of an athlete, and she plays physical ball.
Well, and this is very much in keeping with the character that we saw all season long for Colleen Mullins' women's soccer program as well. As the first one misses here from Reynolds, Dela Cruz was picked up to women's soccer a little bit unexpectedly about a week or so into the season. Both ends of the free throws missed here by Reynolds. DVC suffer no harm for the Dela Cruz foul. We'll tell you a little more about how she came to become a two-sport threat at DVC. Another offensive board. Dela Cruz fakes the shot, now driving, throws it up a little wild. She'll head to the free throw line now and take a couple from the charity stripe.
Yeah, and that's an adjustment you'd love to see for the Vikings. She's been battered up inside all night long, and if she can start getting those whistles, that's going to be a big aspect to this game.
Yeah, we already saw her screaming out for one of them earlier.
And did we get a number on that foul?
I believe that's the second on Halliday Hubbard, which could be a big deal. 11.5 points per game, 12 boards per game, a double-double machine, both her and Amadei. And a very short bench for Coach Collier tonight. Just 2 other players available besides the starting 5. And in fact, we've actually seen both of them already. Carly Reynolds currently on the floor, and Lonnie Jackson.
Yeah, as I was interviewing some of the players, McElroy obviously working out those issues, but she was talking about how she had a short roster in high school and they've won games with 4 and 3 players. I don't even know how that's possible.
Yeah, the only time I've seen that happen at the JUCO level was when DVC beat Modesto by over 100 in a game where they started with 5 and then 2 people fouled out. Looked like the end of a soccer game by the end of that, where a couple folks have been red carded, except more so. Attempted drive from Lapari, unable to hit the target. Brooms meeting Amadei at the timeline, unable to stop her progress though. Back and forth to the right side, hands up top, Wells. Jasmine Wells with Lapari on her. Now at the free throw line, and losing control of it is Hendricks, but that apparently aided by the foul by Serenity Fields. That'll be her second, I believe.
Yeah, just got a little handsy inside. You got 2 fouls on Serenity Fields, and she cannot get in foul trouble early.
We've already seen the importance of her and Aguayo down low to neutralize that size advantage. Hubbard back into the game for Siskiyou, so they'll risk her 2 fouls right now, along with Lonnie Jackson.
Not a shooting foul, though, so.
Indeed, not yet in the bonus. DVC, that's their 3rd team foul in this quarter. Shot deflected by Aguayo, but so busy with that she's unable to get the board. Shot clock at 20. As they took a very early possession drive at the hoop. Jackson to the free throw line. Now it's Wells from the right wing. That one too strong. Picked up for a moment by Lloyd, who I think got hit in the face, perhaps.
Yeah, it looked like she just got underneath the player for the Eagles there, Lonnie Jackson. And, I mean, when you're standing at 5'3", some of those elbows coming down, chopping down, it's a tough position to play inside.
May have been judged incidental, though. I don't see a foul going up on the board. Still just 1 team foul for Siskiyou's here in this second quarter. 3 for DVC. 2 away from putting the Eagles in the bonus. That one takes a deflection as Dela Cruz tried to feed Brooms. Up ahead for Wells, who has to chase that down in the corner. Hot stuff. Amadei able to settle. Bit of a stab dribble. Now takes it back. Quick 1-2, and now driving into the center of the lane. Will absorb contact from, I believe, Aguayo. 4th team foul for DVC in the quarter.
I mean, was that on Aguayo or was that on Lloyd?
It is in fact on Lloyd. That is also her second. Vikings, for one of the few times this season, perhaps, with a little bit more depth than their opponent. They do have Sky Parker available as well on the bench. We've seen Dela Cruz, obviously. And they have the services of Josie Gonzalez.
And something to factor in is Weed, California is a long way away from Pleasant Hill. I remember taking that drive and playing a football game back in my playing days here. They only got here about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at most before the game. It takes a lot to get warmed up when you've been sitting on a bus for almost 4.5 hours.
No doubt. Another couple of misses here. Dela Cruz on the streak, but unable to get that one up and over the rim. He's shown some really promising moves, but the finishing has left a bit to be desired. No look past to Hubbard, and Aguayo says, "Not in my house."
Great recovery by a guy there. She was able to get underneath the post, use all of her speed to really catch up, and then she just caught that ball at the very last possible second. Block factory and rebound factory.
Brooms on the turnaround, not able to finish. I was just about to say, though, Jackie Aguayo, a whole different level of confidence than I remember seeing a little under a year ago when we had the chance to call a game at Contra Costa. Obviously, an entire season and an entire offseason now under her belt at the college level, but she looks like a whole different player.
And you said it already, coachable. That's what you want to hear. She has the size, she has the physicality. Another 4-sport athlete in basketball, tennis, cross country, and swimming. So you know she can run up and down the floor without any worries as a swimmer and cross country player there. But yeah, coachability is the number one thing for her, and you can see it.
Well, you got to like it, too. Like, just the endurance comes from those two. And then with tennis, you've got another sport where it's just run this way really fast, now stop. Now run this way really fast, now stop. And that has absolutely got to work as cross-training for basketball. Brooms from the corner, again, no good. I still don't think we've seen a made three-pointer tonight.
Nope.
Whole heck of a lot of attempts, though. Here comes Hubbard, slaloming through a few DVC defenders. She will finish. And we are going to need a quick pause. Jewel Lloyd did not manage to get back up, and she is laboring there, favoring the right leg after the collision down at the other end.
Yeah, maybe just a little Charlie Hurst there. Hitting those legs is never a fun situation to be in, especially when you only have 2 reserves on the bench. You can't take any of those situations there.
And now a second DVC soccer player on the floor, so I feel right at home. And for that matter, so do the fans directly behind us, the DVC soccer team coming out in force. Their season having just ended yesterday afternoon in Salinas to support their two teammates here on the hardwood. That one a bit too hot. Kept in play by Lipari, and that's going to activate the fast break. Here comes Hubbard, drop down underneath, and again the recovery. Izzy Dela Cruz with that. Josie Gonzalez unable to stay in the, the field of play, because 3 months of calling soccer, but unable to stay outside the no-no paint, and that's going to be Siskiyou's ball with a fresh 30. Quickly to the wing, Brianne Hands, almost trying to make it an inverse broadcaster's curse there. And that one's going to come out to Dela Cruz the other way. 2-on-2, Lipari driving with her left hand, comes to a stop, absorbs contact, and absolutely horrified by that is Hubbard, and that's big for DVC. That will be her third.
Yeah, you can't lose Halliday out there on just some tic-tac fouls, and she's just making those mistakes. It might just be the car right here. I'm telling you, it's really difficult to get your gears going and your bearings straightened out when you've been in a car for that long.
When you've been in that sort of situation, Max, generally does it tend to get better after the halftime break?
Not really. If you're not feeling it by now, it doesn't really happen. Ooh, nice bunny there. It almost looked like a jump shot for for Lexi there.
Oh, so far, delightful free throw shooting for the green and white. I don't think we're keeping that stat particularly, but I'm having a hard time remembering a miss.
Yeah, I think we've only missed one so far tonight.
Lipari hits them both. 17-12, the lead back up to 5, a little over halfway through quarter number 2.
Yeah, and despite the fact that the Vikings only have a couple points lead here, I mean, it looks like they're just dominating, they're controlling it. Even when they fall behind on a turnover or something like that, they're able to get back, they're able to play the defense on the other side of the floor.
Without doubt, the pressure of Aguayo, the speed of Dela Cruz and Brooms, and just the commitment we're seeing all the way around. Another attempted three, no good. Battling there, Fields and Aguayo sandwiching Hendricks, and that ball's out last touched by Blue. DVC ball.
Yeah, if you can't get the board, you try to knock it off the defender, and that's exactly what they did, or the offensive player in that case.
Dela Cruz, Brooms, Aguayo, Gonzalez, and Serenity Fields on the floor. Inside for Fields, kicks to Gonzalez. She'll throw that one up. Doesn't quite get the roll. Aguayo battling for it. Back to Gonzalez. Up and in. Josie in her debut with 2 points off the bench.
It looked like she wasn't prepared that time around, but she said, I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. Got the second bucket to go.
Nice cut to the hoop there, and a ball in for Carly Reynolds. And Siskiyous immediately have the answer. Close the gap back to 5.
Yeah, 4 points for Reynolds, but both of them have been on some nice post moves.
Dela Cruz working with the Serenity Fields pick. Crossover dribble, now kicks out to the left for Gonzalez. She'll leave that for her soccer and now basketball teammate, Dela Cruz. Here's Brooms, crosses over a defender. Inside for Aguayo, up and in. Jackie Aguayo on the feed. From June Brooms, beautiful stuff. Kick to the right side, Hands thinking about the three. She'll leave it for Amadei. Worked around the perimeter, here's Wells. Back to Hands, back to Amadei. Tries to up fake Gonzalez, hand in her face. That one will be too strong. Hendricks battling for the board and will take. Amadei loads it back up. Too short this time. She will leap to try to keep it in play, but stepped on the baseline in the process. DVC ball with a 7-point lead.
Brooms has had a lot of opportunities to take some open shots on the other side of the floor, and she's deferred. And honestly, the ball hasn't necessarily showed up in terms of the points, but the offense has been facilitating well when Brooms gets involved.
Dela Cruz at the top of the key, trying to cross over Hands, who got her hands to it for a moment. Brooms, up fake now, the little up and under. Aguayo battling again for the board. It'll be Hendricks who keeps it, tiptoeing the sideline. Just did manage to stay in. Justin Rubovitz with a good view of it here on the near sideline. Yeah,
Brooms wanted that foul. You could see it in the disgust in her face. Didn't say much in terms of body language, but I could see that snare in her face.
Reynolds looking for the three, and Aguayo's not going to get credit for that board, but she basically just walled off the Siskiyous player and defended that for Fields. Here is Fields taking it at the top of the key, running through the lane, up and no good. Rebound underneath, taken again by Hendricks, who's got to have about 7 or 8 of those by now.
And Serenity's been working on that, just going up, setting up for some of the broadcasts. I've seen her work that post move. Start at the top of the key, work on the inside, and then work the right and the left hand. Didn't get the shot, but that's definitely something she works on, and we'll be seeing a lot of it.
5'11" freshman out of Tustin, putting on a decent show here in her home debut. Jasmine Wells, bodied off by Brooms. Good defense there. Kicks out. The 3-ball, too strong again. Hendricks and Dela Cruz battling for it. It will be taken. And it's a jump ball. Nicely done on the tie-up by Izzy. That will stay with Siskiyous, and it'll be a fresh 30.
Yeah, possession error was a tough thing. You fight so hard, you get in that position, but it's just how it is.
And you just have to remind yourself at that moment, like what I just did is I flipped it so the next time it's ours. I still did a thing. Jasmine Wells from North Medford looking to put this ball back in underneath the hoop. Left corner, that'll be Reynolds, too short. The inbounder taking the rebound over the top of Gonzalez and Amadei. Down to the free throw line, now top of the key for Hands. Kicks out, right wing. That is your first made 3 of the day. And it darn near cuts the DVC lead in half, 21-17. Jasmine Wells dialing long distance.
Yeah, we don't have the stats yet, but they've taken a lot of outside shots, and to finally get one to drop, that's got to feel good for the Eagles.
And travel here as Gonzalez picks that one up, still working on the footwork a little bit here. A little bit new to the return to basketball in the same way that Dela Cruz was recruited to DVC soccer. Gonzalez at the end of the season, who's already been playing in soccer out of position. She was a DVC starting goalkeeper last year and became a left wing forward this season for them.
Oh, what a switch.
A little bit. So now... Even a little more out of her comfort zone. Fields with the busy hands takes that away. Aguayo will get credit for the steal. Up ahead, Lapari manages to adjust to the pass and uses the glass. DVC, another bucket inside the final minute of our first half.
4 points for Lapari so far tonight.
Probably 2, maybe 3 possessions left in this half. Wells down underneath looking for Amadei. Walled off there by Lloyd. Now stepping around Aguayo and laying it in is Carly Reynolds, who has been a slightly unexpected source of offense. Just 5 points per game so far. What's she got right now?
She's got 6.
Okay.
And all of them on some nice post moves. It's difficult to get those post plays going with the 2-3 zone, but they're making it happen now.
Inside now on the fast break, stepping around. Dela Cruz no good. Wells with the rebound, but throws it a bit too hot for Hands. Lapari might have been able to let that one go out of play and let DVC have the last possession, but instead with the shot clock off and 15.7 to go, Siskiyous will get a chance to try to draw ever closer.
And the Vikings staying in that 2-3 zone for now. They haven't really done anything with the outside shots except for 1 made 3, so I don't expect a change in the second half either.
Hands disturbed by Dela Cruz. Here's a ball into the left low block. No good by Reynolds, and that is going to do it for our first half. So a quick little recap, perhaps. Max, what do we have here on the score sheet?
Yeah, Brooms is the leading scorer for the Vikings with 5 so far, and then second is Aguayo, getting 4 points of her own. On the other side for the Eagles, Reynolds has been leading the charge. She's got 6 points to her name, and then following up, Hendricks has 4. But something to note, Hubbard has 3 fouls tonight.
Okay, and that could certainly be a big story late on. We've seen so far the dominance on the glass has been a big piece of what has kept the Vikings able to hold Siskiyous at bay. And at the present here, a little bit of a rush back at the end from the Eagles. They go into the break down 4 to the Vikings. We are going to turn things over to a bit of local music here for you at halftime, as we do on DVC Vikings Live. Some highlights from the Beat of Diablo, some of the best music from Concord Rock City. Well, just a post defense the Vikings have done, maybe a little bit surprising against a team of Siskiyous caliber.
Yeah, the 2-3 zone has been working wonders for the Vikings. It's really set up their offensive rebounding underneath and their defensive boards as well. And then also just the effort of the Vikings getting back in transition, able to use their size to turn the ball over, and look, some more effort underneath the basket there.
Yeah, Jackie Aguayo not able to finish. Fields gets the board. That's going to kick loose, and it looks like a foul here for the collision. We'll see who it goes against. It might well be against Halliday Hubbard, who has come away the worst for it. And is in tears at the moment after, I think, maybe a head-to-head collision.
Yeah, and more than anything, that's her 4th.
At least according, there it goes, yeah, on the board at initial.
Training, that's some good halftime adjustments from Collier, their head coach.
You would expect that of a team like Siskiyous here that have come in with these 2 decisive victories so far. Last year, these 2 clubs faced off with each other twice. Vikings lost by 13 in November. In a game at Skyline College, and then went up to Shasta in December and faced them in a tournament. Lost much more decisively in that one. Wells, who just got that steal with 13 off the bench in that game. More contact down at the other end, and Siskiyous are going to...
Hands on hips, hands on knees, but they are fighting hard, and they're really earning every single point.
Brianne Hands hits the first.
on pace to become our first player into double digits tonight.
If she does so on this bucket, we will be level, and we are 25-25.
Yeah, electric. So the Vikings, if Cook decides to stay or doesn't get a scholarship, because the scholarship is still coming for the Vikings, he could really send the Vikings into that next level of play next year.
Also a promising finish in that game for Ray Valley, he's had some hills and valleys over the course of this season here, but 3 for 3 on field goals and 6 for 6 on the PATs. Huge in that effort. Good news for them. And you mentioned the All-Bay 6 selections, and we have another pause in play here. We'll bring that up. 9 Vikings elected to that team, 4 of them unanimously. Here's Dela Cruz from the left corner looking for the 3. Too short. Tipped around. Aguayo will settle. Another O board for the green and white. LaPerry will take it. Dribbling through the pick of Aguayo, up and in, and going to the line. Vikings haven't been able to hit a 3 from outside. They'll try to get it the old-fashioned way here.
Oh, what a play. That was all effort, all physicality, and she's going to go to the line to try to make it a 3-point play. Even the guards are playing physical. And the Vikings are they're not a team to be messing around. Yeah, we got to keep dreaming because the outside shots haven't been going for either team.
Dela Cruz inside for Fields, turns up, and she traveled before the ball was laid up and in. For a moment, I thought we were going to get the 5-point possession through another 3-point play, but no such luck. Turnover here, and DVC back on top by 2 after the LaPerry hoop.
And a full-court press. When you got a short roster, you're putting a full-court press, you can tell that these athletes are conditioned early. And, man, some nice post defense from Field there.
There you go. Stuffs Amadei, who has been frustrated throughout the evening. Vikings looking to add to their advantage. That one tipped and does not touch Brooms on the way out. Carly Reynolds, a good read, but not able to hold it in play. Brooms with the inbound, 22 to shoot for the Vikes, 22. The woman with the ball in her hands, Lexi LaPerry.
And that timeout did the Vikings justice. They're playing with some passion. They're playing with some energy now.
With the pick of Fields, able to find a little bit of open space. Penetrates, now kicks to the outside. Brooms takes it to the floor. Too strong. Aguayo the board and the putback. DVC double their advantage. Back up 4.
Jackie, man, just so physical in the post, and she's getting those wide open shots in the low block, just feasting.
A true team effort, but here a 3-ball cuts that lead right back to 1. Jasmine Wells, who earlier tonight made her first 3 of the season, now has the only 2 that Siskiyous have hit.
1-point game.
LaPerry using the pick from her fellow point guard, Dela Cruz. Izzy puts it on the floor, running the baseline up and wild, but she'll go to the line to shoot 2.
And that was just a drive completely going for the contact on that play. She was well behind the basket, didn't even have an opportunity to get the shot up. As you can see, she threw it behind the basket, but she just wanted to play that physical ball. And for the 5-forward guard, she is, man, I've talked about it all night long, physicality.
No, she is a whirling dervish on a soccer field and on the hardwood. Yeah, played outside back, but was just somebody who covered every blade of grass over the course of this season for Colleen Mullins' Vikings soccer team. Starting to tell you the story of how the Vikings came to find her as she splits the free throws. Vikings with that lead back to 2. Wells up ahead, and that is not going to be held in by Hendricks. Steps on the baseline, Vikings ball again.
Yeah, but continue to tell us about Dela Cruz.
Yeah, so Izzy, so basically she was walking from class, I believe, to basketball practice and happened to walk by soccer practice one day. Ball comes out in her direction, and she just fires it back into the field, and Coach Mullins looks over and says, wait a minute, that is a player. That's somebody who actually knows what she's doing. Why do I not know about her? And she turned out to be among the team MVPs this year. Quick back and forth. Fields not able to feed Aguayo at the end, but she gets the ball back. DVC with 18 to shoot, but they're not going to wait long. LaPerry, the dialed up from distance, but no good.
Yeah, Siskiyous got caught sleeping there. They had 4 players in the post, left them wide open.
That was a quick
possession.
Very, very quick transition there. Just pass. That one up off glass, no good. Rebound comes to Hands, and she'll tie it back up at 30.
First player in the double digits, Brianne Hands, averaging 17. She's got 10 now.
Siskiyous starting to look a little more like themselves. The Vikings led by as much as 7. Nice little ball to pass LaPerry open, but unable to hit the jumper from the left side.
Had the power, just didn't have the line.
Wells up ahead here. Carly Reynolds pressed into a bit more action in the absence of Hubbard. She takes aim from distance, no good. The rebound, Siskiyou's starting to get a little more of those second chance opportunities. A battle underneath between Hendricks and Aguayo. And it's going to be a jump ball, and it stays with the Eagles.
That's the jump ball for you. Not a fan if you can't tell by my voice. Substitutions for the Vikings now. They're going to go smaller.
Allie Lloyd and Josie Gonzalez back in. Fields and Brooms out.
It's going to put a lot of pressure for Aguayo to play inside defense.
She's been up to it so far. That one just over the outstretched hand of Lloyd. Forced to come to a stop is Reynolds, and she didn't quite get the Flintstone feet to come to a halt. That'll be a travel and another turnover.
Yeah, Jackie there, you don't ever want to jump, but when you have that pressure and that post presence that she said tonight, you start to feel it. You feel that trickle down your back, and she felt it as she turned the ball over.
Just an imposing presence on the inside. Very solid defender. Here's LaPerry dribbling in from the arc. Floater, no good. Lloyd battling for it underneath. Seems a bit slippery down there. Amade comes away with it.
LaPerry's been watching a lot of film on Stephen Curry, her favorite player. She's been trying that teardrop shot all night long.
Well, if ever there was someone to try to emulate, then again, he might be from Saturn, so got to be careful with that. LaPerry blown by Amade, but a good slap by Aguayo, and it's even busy hands to go along with the stature and the footwork. Another turnover authored by the number 44 in white. LaPerry from just inside the left corner. She will pass up the three early in the shot clock. Now throws it over the head of Gonzalez, and that's going to be an uncontested bucket if Wells can finish it. And that is Siskiyou's first lead of the day. 32-30 with 3:32 to go.
9 points from Wells, but that just shows something that hasn't really been in practice that long. Gonzalez just finishing her basketball season. You can tell the gears weren't quite grinding right there.
Another throw back to Josie, almost another turnover. That one wouldn't have been quite her fault. Taps it to Dela Cruz. Left wing working on Brianne Hands. Dribbles around her. Floater, and Izzy with a nice finish there. That'll tie it back up.
That was nasty. She hit that crossover right into the teardrop. That was a beautiful play. You can tell she's been working on that footwork in soccer.
Wild stuff up ahead for Amade. She keeps it in play at the baseline. Now kicked out straightaway three for Jasmine Wells. Siskiyous retake the lead, 35-32. Back and forth we go.
You got a new point leader as she leads the game with 12, but 3 threes in this quarter. She is on fire.
And that after they only hit one as a team in the first half. Lloyd inside, no good, but gets another opportunity. Rebound taken by Gonzalez. Kicks back out for LaPerry. 10 to shoot as the Vikings have not hit the rim just yet. Around the world goes LaPerry, now down through the baseline and steps on it. That'll be a turnover and Siskiyous ball.
Yeah, they're bringing in some of their substitutions to bring some of those veteran presence back, get this game back under control, and possibly tie it up or get the lead going into the fourth quarter break.
You might have even had a little bit of a talking to there with Fields. We saw the issue with the body language at the very start of the quarter, and it's kind of been a bit of the theme set. Wells again straight on three. That one in and out, and she knew as soon as she let loose because she was screaming down the center of the lane to try to get her own board. LaPerry settles. Across the timeline, Dela Cruz on the left side. Floating again, and Izzy with the finish from the baseline.
Man, her handles are so smooth along those baselines.
Especially that first step she's taking, as that is over the top. Lonnie Jackson rather, is going to head to the line after absorbing contact. But yeah, getting back to Dela Cruz on that one, just that first step, the receive and the little bit of a fake to get the defender to commit to maybe having to stop a shot, and then she is gone around the side of you at that point.
Yeah, agility is the name, or agility and physicality really, because she's not afraid to get inside that post and take the contact there.
Number 20, Lonnie Jackson. She has a second shot.
First points for Jackson tonight.
Pressed into duty as Hubbard has been on the bench for pretty much the entire third quarter after that collision about a minute in. They hit both free throws, 37-34. Eagles remain on top. LaPerry over to Brooms. LaPerry moving without the ball, now around the baseline, trying for that floater again. Way too strong, but she absorbed contact before it. She will head to the line.
Second foul on Hands, but more than anything, LaPerry's been doing a great job just getting that contact when she knows she can't get the finish.
Well, the time you mentioned to the search for contact, it looked like a much better idea because DVC looked at the time like they were closing in on being in the bonus for a good 4 minutes. Since then, Siskiyous, a lot of discipline. been able to avoid picking up those 4th and 15 fouls. That is the 4th one just now, but with only 99 seconds to go. LaPerry splits the pair. 37-35. Minute and a half to go in the third.
Yeah, some great adjustments by Collier and her team.
3 ball from hands, no good. Inside, June Brooms battling, but Asia Hendricks will take it away. Good work there by Reynolds to hold up the DVC player in that battle. Wild pass looking for hands, but she keeps it in play. Trying to dribble on LaPerry, finds Wells, thought about the 3, now going in and absorbing the double team, and Aguayo comes down with the board. Good defense inside for the Vikings, collapsing the double team at the right time.
Yeah, a lot of effort on that 2-3 zone there to be able to cover up that whole entire floor there.
And there, just like you said before, Max, LaPerry looking for the contact, getting the ball up, making sure it's a shooting foul, although now it hardly matters. That is team foul number 5. The Vikings will be in the bonus for the last 61 seconds. And LaPerry will have a chance to try to tie it up from the line.
First foul on Lonnie Jackson. I thought they put up a 2 for Brienne Hands for a second. She's got 3, so that would have been a big one.
Hits the first and a chance to draw us back level here for LaPerry.
Yeah, and you can tell when she lets go of her free throw. When she's confident, she's feeling, she holds it. But then when she doesn't hold it, she doesn't necessarily get that bounce in.
And there you go. Gets the shooter's roll on the final one, and we are all locked up with a minute to go in the third. Wells, left side here for Reynolds. DVC trying to keep Siskiyous on the perimeter. They will look for the drive and kick. Here comes Wells, down inside. Hendricks able to handle it, gets it up and in off glass. That was a slippery one. Barely actually got control of it, but able to get enough for the finish. Siskiyous back on top. DVC looking for the answer. And they won't be able to get it on this possession as it's taken away. Up ahead, Hands looking for Wells. Good defense by Dela Cruz. Forces the rough shot. LaPerry with the rebound. She will absorb contact. And now with DVC in the bonus, that's going to be free throws.
What a way to take it and try to make a tie with 27 seconds left. LaPerry's been the answer for the Vikings so far. She has 9 points tonight. And, I mean, there's a reason she was an MVP over at Alhambra. She is a heck of a player.
Shooting 2 again is number 22, Alexis LaPerry.
LaPerry back iron on the first. For the Vikings in these final 27 seconds. Dela Cruz, Brooms, LaPerry, Fields, and Aguayo on the floor. Basically your starting lineup, but with Izzy, who has been a real injection of energy in there in place of Allie Lloyd. Lexi splits the pair. DVC back within 1. Shot clock is off. 25 seconds to go in our quarter. Siskiyous will look to push their lead out a little bit further.
Double-digit scoring for Lexi now.
I don't know if there was a violation or something. That second or that last free throw has not gone up on the board just yet. Got a timeout taken here by Coach Collier. Didn't like the way things were developing. Hopefully they'll fix things up. We're pretty sure it's 39-38. I saw that ball go through the hoop. Unless there was some sort of lane violation, but
I don't think so. I think we'll get that worked out there. They're talking about it at the table.
Go.
But, man, +8 in the quarter for the Eagles. The Eagles came out there. They played some physical offense and physical defense as well. But it's just been the energy. The energy for the Eagles has been greater than the Vikings, and that's been the story of the game so far. The team with the most energy has been the more successful team.
And it's nice to see here, especially for a team like DVC that coming into tonight had lost 2 games, one of them pretty heavily. Siskiyous who had won 2 games, one of them pretty heavily. I think there was some concern here coming into the game that this could be the sort of game that might get out of hand early. And instead, it's been a very competitive game. And like you said, whoever has brought the energy, that's been the team that has generally executed. Yeah, it's turned out to be a very even encounter here between these two squads.
Yeah, I'll be really interested to see if Siskiyous keeps shooting and keeps hitting those threes, if the Vikings go back into the more traditional man-to-man coverage. But they've really stuck true to their 2-3 zone tonight.
Score has been fixed. That free throw is not a figment of our imagination. 9 seconds left in the quarter. Cross-court inbound pass for Wells. Absorbs contact, but no foul. Hubbard back in the game. Hits from three-point land, and Siskiyous are now up 4, and the clock is going to run out here for DVC to get a reaction to that. So everything you just said a moment ago, Max Agrest, Siskiyous now pushing to their biggest lead of the day.
Yeah, Jasmine Wells, man, she set that one up. She faked from the 3, got inside the post, and then took the extra pass over to Hubbard. They injected Hubbard in there after the timeout because they knew a low opportunity to get the foul there, and it paid off. 5 points on the night for Hubbard, despite the fact that she has 4 fouls, 1 more and she's out.
And like we said, she and Amade so far this season, double-double machines, both of them averaging in the realm of 12 to 13 points and 11 and 12 rebounds per game. So important players. Amade's had a really tough time getting it going today. They need something from Hubbard if the Eagles are going to get this across the line. Well, here in the quarter break, we'll take a moment. We were talking earlier about football and about these all-basic selections, and perhaps you can tell us a little bit here about some of these guys, especially, I like seeing at this time of year folks like Jack Seeley, like Ben Rowe, who are maybe a little less heralded because they don't end up in your
give the big boys some love.
Yeah, give the flowers to the folks who have earned them here with the tough play inside. DVC, tough play inside, has been the name of the game when they've been successful. We come in here to the fourth quarter with the Vikings trailing by 4. Aguayo trying to settle a ball out on the perimeter. She's on the deck. That's going to be not a tie-up. It's going to be a Casey Waters timeout, in fact, as we take a moment here to make sure that the scoreboard isn't lying to you. We are now in the fourth quarter. There we go. Lots of jobs here on this
sideline. You got the
timeline.
timeouts. You might as well use it right there. You're in the position where every single possession could possibly matter going into the fourth quarter there. Instead of having the possession arrow rather go back the way of the Eagles, take that timeout, coach up your team, get the sloppy play out the way, and come back with some energy.
Absolutely. DVC here down 4. As we said, they've led by as much as 7. This is the biggest lead the Eagles have had today. And we may have some stoppages here as both teams have 3 timeouts remaining and 9 minutes and 43 seconds to use them. So we'll take you a little more around the horn as the situation warrants. Izzy Delacruz, the trigger, into June Brooms. Batted around, gets back in control and able to get that to Delacruz. Now on the right elbow, Fields locked up, and that is going to be a jump ball, and that's going to go the way of Siskiyous this time.
Yeah, the possession arrow flip, but more than anything, I thought it was going to be an up and down on the Vikings, so you'll take in that situation.
Yeah, at least you gain something. Possession arrow switches back to the green and white following the jump ball. Wells on the floor with hands. Reynolds, Amade, and Hubbard on 4 fouls. Keep an eye on that. Kick out to Amade, thought about the 3, now up to the top of the key for Wells, round the perimeter, hands. Back up top, Wells, whose 3-pointers have been one of the big differences here in the second half. Amade, that's definitely a travel, got caught in 2 minds. And as we hear extra cha-cha from John Brown.
And something I've actually noticed is, I think one of the big factors is the switch of the sides of the floor. Siskiyous is doing such a good job just listening to their head coach, and when she's calling the plays and she's making efforts like that, I mean, they're listening, they're reacting, and they're really feasting on that.
I'd like to see a little more of that from the green and white here. Of course, they also have the advantage of being on the floor with their on the side of the floor with their team bench. Delacruz there after Grooms just manages to avoid the over and back. Fields battling for the board, last touched by Serenity. And that'll be Siskiyous' ball. Ball up ahead here for Carly Reynolds. Back to Amade. Corner 3 from the right side. No good. That looked pretty nice out of the hand. The Vikings lucky not to have it fall. Would have been down 7. Here's Izzy. Behind the pick of Serenity Fields. Dribbles to the free throw line. Pulls up wide right. Down underneath. Lexi LaPerry continuing to do hard work. Finds Izzy wide open on the left wing, but elects not to take the shot. Fields from the free throw line. Also no good. The board from Hubbard. 2 gilt-edged opportunities for the Vikings to cut the lead in half.
Yeah, that's tough. You work the 15-footer. You don't work the 17-footer.
Here comes Hubbard with a head full of steam. Unable to finish. Serenity Fields making things challenging underneath. Allie Lloyd getting ready to check in. LaPerry with the floater again. Doesn't get the roll. Reynolds settles that after Aguayo and Hubbard cancel each other out underneath. Left corner. This will be Carly Reynolds, and she strokes it home. And Vikings were spared a few minutes ago, but it is now a 7-point advantage for the College of the Siskiyous. Their biggest lead of the night.
3 different players in double figures rather for Siskiyous now.
Crossover from Delacruz, leaves it for Aguayo. Izzy hides behind the number 44 for a moment. Quick interior pass, now Aguayo on the feed, and she hits and breaks the Viking drought, back within 5.
And I think that's what the Vikings need to do. They need to get it back to Brooms to facilitate, and when they've done that in the past, they've been successful.
Cross-court pass for Hands. Delacruz quickly out on the closeout. Back to Hands, now Wells. Quickly inside for Hubbard at the elbow. Now finds Reynolds from the right side. She's been the hot shooter, but doesn't hit this time. Fields the board.
Yeah, and that's a big stop for the Vikings there. Getting down by 8 points would be that's a tall tax to call for tonight.
LePerry arrests the dribble, tries to go over the top for Fields, no dice. Dela Cruz chases it down, though, and it'll be a foul against Brianne Hands. And I believe you mentioned before, that may be number
That's
4.
her third.
Oh, third on her.
COF's team foul number 1 here in the
They'll take off Amadei.
Foul is charged to number 2.
Into the game again, Asia Hendricks, who has been a load down low. 5'9", a freshman out of Mount Shasta. It's been the chief rebounder. That one through the hands of Dela Cruz, but last touched by Hubbard. It'll stay with the green and white with 16 to shoot.
Yeah, and if I'm the Vikings, I'm driving right into the body of Hubbard and forcing that call. Get her out the game. You do not need another weapon on the floor, especially when you have 3 10-point scores already for the Eagles.
Dela Cruz can't quite get that over the top to Brooms, and it's going to be a jailbreak at the other end. Izzy, full commitment, and she will alter the shot. Up ahead now, 2-on-1 for the Vikings. Here comes LePerry, pulls up, fires, no good. The board Aguayo, the putback, also no good. Batted away, and Siskiyous will survive it.
Just didn't really like what was going on there. They stopped instead of pushing forward, and they paid for it.
Turnaround jumper, Hubbard, silky. Siskiyous stretch the lead back to 7. Say that 5 times fast.
And that's the 7th point for Hubbard as well. Hubbard heating up in this late aspect of the game.
Dela Cruz looking to take on Wells up over the top here. Brooms at the free throw line, over to Lloyd. Keeps it in play in the corner. Aguayo in the high post. Now Dela Cruz behind Aguayo. Slithering in the floater, and Izzy Dela Cruz back on the board. DVC back within 5.
11 points for Izzy, and at least 8 of those points have come off such beautiful crossovers.
The handles are special. That one ripped out of the hands of Lloyd by Hubbard. We're thankful that didn't hit the camera that's giving you the scoreboard, or else we would have had to scurry for that.
It all works out at the end of the day. I saw that arm reaching out.
Yeah. No, I was about to have to play some tough interior defense of my own. Hubbard the trigger, 30 to shoot here for Siskiyous. Wells the no look to Hubbard on the left wing. Reynolds has had a good touch from 3, won't get a chance to take a shot this time. Slapped away Izzy. Look out from behind. LePerry's going to lose it, and I think it's last off of Lexi. Bit of a disagreement here, but I think the right call made here by Chris Covert.
And something to take note of, both these teams have been shooting very early in the shot clock. You have all 30 seconds, and it feels like every single shot's coming out in the first 15.
And especially with short benches and the clock kind of being the friend of the Eagles, it's a little bit of a surprise. You're absolutely right. Hands with Hendricks in the airspace. Goes to Reynolds in the right corner. Drops that off for Hubbard. Hands around the perimeter to Wells. Dela Cruz out on her, 7 to shoot. Trying to make a liar of Max Agress right here. Hubbard dribbling on the perimeter. Good defense by Dela Cruz. Desperation 3, and it's not out of her hands in time. Vikings defense playing tough and earning the shot clock violation.
You know, we've got to speak a little bit quiet here because I think the coaches can hear us from the broadcasting booth across the floor. I'm not here to do anything except call a game. I don't want to influence anything on the floor.
Not my job to be part of the story, but well, I'm a professor that teaches labs and a singer and a broadcaster, particularly for soccer. My voice carries. Got nothing I can do about that. Ball in the hands there. Nice crossover from Brooms. Left side, Dela Cruz. Inside for Lloyd. Right back out to Izzy. Back to Brooms. Way short on the 3 ball. Good open shot, but she's got a bit of a look of disgust on her face for that one. That's not what she was looking for.
Yeah, but you'll live with it. You had a great ball movement in there. You got inside the post a couple times, made the defense shift, and then you got the wide open shot there. Wasn't able to hit the shot, but the next time that goes, you'll feel confident taking that one again.
Another 3 from Reynolds. That's no good. The offensive board from Hendricks, and she'll go to the line after the blocking foul from Jackie Aguayo.
And Jackie's only her first foul tonight. That is surprising.
How is that possible? As physical as she's been in there, we talked about the deceleration, the ability to avoid that contact.
Yeah.
But she was pitching a perfect game up until 4 minutes, 23 seconds left. That's incredible.
And this will be interesting to see. They take Aguayo off the court, and they put Fields back in. So I think the Vikings will try to finish this game off with their 2 bigs. But can they survive in the situation when you're down 6, potentially down 7 after the second free throw attempt?
Shooter's roll here from Hendricks.
And she gets both of them.
I think the big surprise I've had to this point is that we really haven't seen much of an effort to attack Hubbard down low. From what I've seen, somebody who's on 4 fouls can't afford it. Lloyd screaming for the ball, but LaPerry doesn't see her. She'll go for the floater. No good. Contact is not deemed enough. And here comes Siskiyous on the break up ahead. Oh, that was again a fake of that.
Yeah.
That was a weird, awkward-looking attempt to pass and then decide not to.
Yeah, it was a 2-on-1, and De La Cruz was able to get in there and get the stop. So, I mean, just all the effort and the heart that she's been showing all night long, got in that passing lane and forced her to turn the ball over.
Yeah, coming out of a 1-on-2 by forcing a turnover, I think we call that a Draymond.
There you go.
Serenity Allie Lloyd not able to get that board here. Asia Hendricks dealing with De La Cruz, brings her to a halt. Cross quarter to Hubbard. Top of the key. Hubbard dropped back to hands. Dribbles into her own player, now kicked out Wells, the 3-ball in and out. Hubbard battling for the board. That's going to be last touched by Blue. DVC ball.
Yeah, and the 3 balls have been the story of this game, honestly. Siskiyous has been taking a lot of shots, but they've been hitting them in the second half of play, and the Vikings still yet to get a 3 to their name.
That's basically, as you said, been the story. When they weren't falling, DVC stretched themselves to a 7-point lead. Now that they are, tough to keep a lid on this Eagles team.
If you think about it, the 5 3-pointers that they've made, those account for a big aspect of this lead.
Brooms looking for it, and she's finally found the target, and the lead nearly cut in half. 49-44, 3:15 to go.
And that's the magic of having a game so close. 1 3-point shot on your side will, get it. As we see a beautiful finish underneath the basket on the reverse for Hubbard.
My word, she's certainly showing what she's capable of as long as she's able to stay on the floor. We've made it to 3 minutes. LaPerry, top of the key. Kicks to Brooms, wide open, thought better of it, now fires and hits! The lead now officially cut in half, 51-48, it's a 1-possession game.
And Brooms is feeling herself. You can see the little facial expressions on her face change. Doesn't have much body, doesn't show it on her body, but on her face it says a lot.
Oh, there's a ball inside, good wrong foot on the defender by Hendricks, and that's going to lead to a pretty straightforward bucket with the left hand.
It's been a lot of even scoring tonight for the Eagles there. They've got 5 different players in double digits now.
Certainly didn't seem like that was in the cards about 2.5 quarters ago, did it?
No, not at all.
Fields, inside Grooms, kick out. Corner 3 for Lloyd, no good. Actually looks like she had a toe on the line.
Well, once again, the Vikings offense doing a good job to create that shot, just haven't been finishing.
That one inside, Hendricks again off the target. Little strong, little off to the left, and that'll be DVC ball after it rattles out.
Yeah, it's a 5-point game, but more than anything, there's so many teaching moments to come out of this game. If you can get these teaching moments in a win, that feels so much better than in a loss.
1 minute and 58 seconds to do something about it.
Yeah, not much error room here. You have to play physical as Siskiyous comes out in their full court pressure now.
Indeed, DVC with 2 seconds to get over the line. They do. LaPerry joined on the floor by Fields. Oh, that's a bullet pass inside for Brooms. No good, and Aguayo has it ripped out of her hands by Hendricks. Up ahead, Siskiyous looking to run. Here's Amade. Comes to a stop. Wells, the quick pass to the low block. Right back out for Amade. Wells and De La Cruz now inside. Hendricks kicks to the left side. 3-ball, and Hubbard, looking for what may well be the nail in the coffin, stretches the lead to 8 with 1:18 to go. It just got that much harder for the green and white.
Yeah, that's the backbreaker there.
LaPerry looking for the answer, but that is well short.
You're in this situation, you have to change your offense up so much, and it's just mathematically really difficult now.
We've got a timeout taken here by Coach Collier with 61 seconds to go. Siskiyous have owned the second half, and DVC just not quite with enough shooting to hang with the Eagles. They've still got a little bit of time to do something, though. So we'll take one more trip here around the horn, tell you about 2 other teams, ones that I've been involved in calling. So DVC Soccer finishing up at 6-15-1, did manage to win men's basketball, and you can see them in 2 days, boards and 4 blocks in that victory. And Ben in particular told me that it was all about them amping up the defense. That was really what got it done after Alameda had closed a pretty big gap.
And that's the difference in this game. The defense has just started to falter for the Vikings. They did such a good job in that 2-3 zone, but they've been giving up shots on the outside, which has really pushed their determination to play that tough defense. So the energy has just gone the way of Siskiyous in the second half, and that's something that the Vikings need to teach. If you're going to play with such a short roster, you got to have energy all throughout the night. You can't come out here and stop it short.
Well, we saw decent energy on that one as they forced another timeout out of the pocket of Nicole Collier with 2 seconds left on the shot clock, so she'll be drawing something up for the return from the break. We'll finish up our Around the Horn coverage here with water polo. The men, more goals than Ethan Braga is Elizabeth McGrath on the women's team, who scored 98. Long pass here just out of the break, beating the shot clock. Hubbard cannot hit, but Aguayo unable to settle. Hubbard the last to touch it. It'll be DVC ball.
8-point game. I don't know how many possessions you can really manufacture, but get it quickly up the floor and play the foul game.
Or shoot the 9.
Yeah, shoot the 9. Same fighting. We don't got a knockout blow.
Delacruz around to Brooms, who's gotten hot late, but that one again a bit on the short side. 23 seconds, the shot clock is off, and it doesn't appear Casey Waters is looking to extend this game here. The Vikings will play one more defensive possession and reset for their next matchup. That coming up on Tuesday against Napa Valley.
Yeah, a lot of good came out this game, though. Despite the fact that you lost to a very talented team despite the short roster on their end. But I think more than anything, there's just so many teaching moments that come out of this game, and they're able to come back and really, this team is better than what their record shows. They're a very physical team that can play some great posts with their 2 bigs inside. I mean, you have such a talented player in Jackie underneath. The fact that she only had 1 foul on the night at the end of the evening, I mean, that's just that's some beautiful play. You have a few shots that went awry. The Vikings weren't able to hit a 3-point shot until about 4 minutes left in the game. So get that outside shooting going. Drill that a lot in practice. Get your identity going a little bit more. But more than anything, the defense looked good for the greater part of the game, and just come through and keep fighting.
Well, I think you said it too. Identity, I think, is a big word here. I think early in this season, with new players coming in, with not so many returners to begin with, and then trying to incorporate folks like, for instance, a Josie Gonzalez, or players that are trying to get their eligibility straightened out, there's definitely this feeling out period. And I think tonight we got a good look at what they can bring to the floor and what can help make them competitive here in the Big 8.
Yeah, and that's what the preseason's for. You take your time, you work on all the execution things, and more than anything, you know that 2-3 zone works. We've seen it work to almost perfection. So work on that man-to-man defense as well, and the picture is starting to build together. And what Casey's trying to accomplish is it's going a long way.
Well, we look forward to having you back to see a bit more of this. This team will be taking on Napa Valley College on Tuesday.
In a doubleheader.
In a doubleheader, right. I was about to say, before that, we've got 2 men's games this Saturday against Skyline in the afternoon, a little matinee performance, and then the first game of that doubleheader